So, a very good morning to everyone. And I'm Dr. Rajat Mitra. I'm a clinical psychologist. And my specialization is in grief work. And today we will be talking about understanding the grieving process in human beings. Grief is to be understood, it is not to be feared. Very often in grief therapy, people feel that grief is permanent. ये कभी बंद भी होगा या नहीं. Grief is something which is finite. That is the way nature intended to be. Modern societies are losing touch with how to deal with grief. I shared that example of the Native Americans. In our society, we had Chautha, we had Tervi. Many people are not following that. And as a mental health professional, I see that those families, those who do not follow this, those who do not follow the rituals, are finding it more difficult to go through this. We need not block grief inside. There is a sense of martyrdom very often. People who say that मैं अपना गम अपने अंदर रखना चाहता हूँ, अपने आंसू पी लेना चाहता हूँ. That is not good because that leads to a host of diseases, cardiovascular diseases. In fact, cancer has been linked to grief. Grief comes to an end when we allow it to finish. If you tell yourself your grief will come to an end, it will finish, you will feel free from inside. Grief is also a psychosocial phenomena. It is not something that is individual. It tells us that we need another person. Like in our society, whenever there is a death, a lot of people come and give condolences. A common sight is, the drawing room or the living room is empty. People sit around. It becomes a social phenomena. Last year, my mother died, and my neighbors, the entire neighborhood came. They sat over here. Many people I had not even talked to, they came to give their condolences. It's a social phenomena. And it is something that we need to retain. It is not something that we need to deal with privately. Western philosophy, Western science talked of grief as a private phenomena. And they found that when they did that, the morbidity rate, the mortality rate increased very much as a result of that. And in the Eastern societies, people recover faster because also they deal with grief much more effectively than they deal in the Western societies. My professor, he's an internationally known professor of clinical psychology. He was in India some time ago, a few years back, and he was here for 3 months. When he left, I asked him that, George, his name is George Colorize, what did you find that was unique about India? And I was very interested in hearing what does the internationally known psychologist on attachment and grief talks about India. Will he talk about poverty or other things like everyone does? He said, Rajat, I want to tell you something. What I found unique about your society was that it's the way you deal with grief. He said, during the 3 months that I spent in India, in all these 3 months, I did not hear a baby cry. When I was going back and I had stopped at Amsterdam airport, after 3 months, I heard a baby cry. Everybody was passing by that. Nobody was picking it up. Everybody went on as usual. But in India, I saw that whenever a baby cried, somebody would stop, pick up the baby, try to play with the baby so that the baby stops crying. He said, that is a quality, that is something which is a great strength of your culture, and I think you must not, forget it, and you must retain it, right? So grief needs to be taught again as a part of living and existence. All religions teach us how to deal with grief and face it courageously.